It's the favorite time of the year again. And do you know what I mean? Can you feel it? I can feel it all in the air. The sun is beaming directly on me here in Florida, but you know what that means. It is time for spring fishing, some of the best fishing that any angler can experience. If spring doesn't get you excited, then I just don't know what else does. After coming off of these long winter months, all of these crazy temperature changes, low freezing nights, it is about time that the water starts to warm up and these bass start to move shallow. This is going to really give us the opportunity to be able to pick them off and to be able to break a PB, and we're going to have fun. So let's just start talking about some of the baits that you guys should be throwing. It's no secret, no surprise. You see them in my hand already. Red is probably one of the best color selections for spring. Don't get me wrong, bluegill and shad are also deadly. They always killer all year long. But these bad babies right here is probably going to get you some of your biggest strikes, some of your most violent strikes. And it is definitely going to be very visible in the water. They have rattles, and it is just something that the bass are just going to really key in on as they get to that pre-spawn feed. So BLV, what is pre-spawn feeding? After those winter months, bass really get out of that deep water. They come up shallow. Some bass are already shallow, but majority of the bass really start to push up in waves. Some of the smaller ones start to push first. Some of the bigger girls start to push up behind them, and they just kind of do it in waves. They kind of take turns or whatnot. And what you want to do is be in the right place at the right time. When bass are thinking about pre-spawn feeding, they will literally eat just about any and everything you throw at them. So what I recommend is some faster moving baits, reaction baits, and baits you can cover water with in general. We're not fishing slow, we're not finessing, man. We're really trying to get some of those bigger bass that jump on our line. And with that being said, red, it can be one of the better color selections all across the country. Red is really known as a hot topic on the lake, really produces bites. And as you can see, I already have me a red chatterbait, even have me like a little red, orangish, brownish looking crawbait here, got us a jig. These are the colors you want to throw when you really want your lure to stand out from the crowd. Bass are probably feeding on bait, fish, and craw, but you might want something that's going to really stand out and something that's super bold to them. And I think with the bold color, it would kind of limit out some of those smaller bass and have some of those bigger bass ready to play. The ones that are absolutely feeding, they're going to have no choice but to see, feel, and hear that bait, and they are going to smash it if they're actually into the pre-spawn feeding mode. But you will have your days like today. It is super hot. Sun is just directly up, sky blue, like no kind of clouds or nothing here in Florida. So you will have days you definitely need to dial in and keep your bluegill, your shad imitators. You can never go wrong with those any given time of the year. Bass will bust up on those and clear water. When you have super clear water, red may not be the best choice, but it can still get some of those bigger bass to hone in on it just because it stands out. And sometimes color doesn't necessarily always matter. It's just something that stands out, something that's a little different, and it gets the bass attention. Bass are opportunists, and I'm telling you, some days you just be surprised with the result. I would think red works best in stained or murky water, or water that you just can't really see in at all. But if you have clearer water, I definitely recommend the natural color patterns for sure. Just a few examples of what you should be throwing. We have a chatterbait, creates a lot of vibration and noise. Shallow running crankbait, have a red, have a square bill, bounce it off some structure, off some cover, trigger reaction strike. Of course, you also have red, a deep diver. For some of you guys up north, some of you guys that have some of those deeper ponds, this right here is probably talking to you, a deep diving crankbait. There may not be quite as many here in Florida, so I'm going to stick with the shallow running bait myself. And you can also throw a lipless, tight wobble, aggressive action, a lot of rattles, a lot of noise, and you can get a good amount of casting distance on those things and really cover water. We're not moving slow. Okay, BLV, so we're talking about the lures to be able to catch these fish. We know we need something vibrating. We know we need something that's going to stand out. We know we need commotion. How do we locate these bass? Well, as far as the spring bass fishing goes, we all know in those winter months during the colder times of the year, bass would tend to kind of hide out. They would tend to go out deep. There would be a few that remain shallow, some of them that just there and forever home, and that's just how it is. But you will have a lot of bass that also goes out deep. For the ones that pushed offshore, they will start to come back closer to the shore as the water starts to warm up. And as that water continues to heat up, and as it consistently heats up, that's the true key. Once that water heats up consistently for like probably 3 to 4 days or more, and then those bass are thinking about spawning. And once they start thinking about spawning, they really start to fatten up, and they just start to eat everything, they feed heavily. And as they're doing that, they're steadily making their way, finding new homes up in the shallows. So they're going to push up out of that deep water, and they're going to push into some of the pockets. They're going to push into some coves, shallow flats, any kind of shallow bank area with a lay down tree or overhanging tree that creates shade or some kind of overhead protection from them. Bass just like to feel protected. So they're going to sit right next to shallow structure. And once again, the flats, coves, pockets, anywhere you can find shallow water. And if it has vegetation or any kind of structure, that is just going to add even more money to the pot. It's just something that's hard to beat, and it's going to make finding the bass super duper easy. And everyone even knows you need your good pair of polarized sunglasses. Get you a pair of those, man. Just go sight hunting. You will see bass swimming up and down the shore all the time. Might even catch a few of them on beds already here in the south. So now we have an idea of what kind of baits to throw, what to target, and what to do to find these fish. Man, it's super easy. Spring is going to be some of the best fishing that you will ever do all year long. My only recommendation is to not throw away your natural colored baits. Do not just throw them out the tackle box, but forget about those. Remember, keep those on deck, but always keep you some red lures accessible and ready. Because sometimes you might catch you quite a few bass, but you might want to mix it up from that natural color. You may want something that's a bit more bold, stands out a bit more. And then that's the time you can really target and pick out some of those big girls. You may get fewer bites, but I can guarantee you the bites that you are going to get are going to be worth it. I even had one of my buddies, we took this exact lure out a couple of years ago, probably about 2 or 3 years ago. One of my buddies, Jason, Dope Fishing J on YouTube, Instagram, and whatnot. And this guy took the same exact bait, took it to one of our favorite ponds after we just brought it out the store. And this guy threw it next to some shallow water that was next to some deep water. I'm guessing that bass came from deep to shallow, like I said, thinking about spawning. And he actually hooked into a 5+ pounder. It almost broke him off. It spit the hook after it jumped, but it was a big girl. I didn't even believe in red, but that made me a believer that day. Might not get quite as many bites. There's something about red. I'm not sure if it mimics the crow, if it just stands out, but it's something. You know, big girls, when they're really hungry and they're aggressive, they would knock that thing out the park. If there are any one of these lures or any other lure that you can think of that I may have missed, because we haven't covered everything, this was just kind of like a simpler selection of 5 lures. But if you want to see how to work these lures, technique specific, and really learn what kind of gear and everything you need, just let me know in the comments. I got you. I can make a video specifically for that. And I just want to help you guys catch more fish. So I'm hoping you guys learned something today. I just want you guys to keep those lines tight. I want you to stay at it. Catch you a PB, man. Share it with me on Instagram, Facebook. You already know my socials below. And till next time, peace. We're out.